Table Air. Today we got a game in the Richie for you. I got Uncle Jojo on the screen here. Cunningham, Ciliax, straight up accuracy build looks like. Not a bad build, that's an old build I haven't looked at for a while, but I think it still does pretty well. You got other options, of course. Maybe at some point we'll update that build. Here we got a match on the map Haven. Capture the base mode. This is a ship I wanted to highlight. Number one, someone asked for it on the stream the other day. We played a flank. Nobody else, my team, played the flank, so we didn't really get a chance to look at the ship, suffice it to say. But there's some interesting aspects going on in here. Now, this is going to be a match where we're pinning down lines. We're preventing the enemy from moving forward, essentially. And this is more of a defensive setup. This is a very good ship. This and the Jean Bart are both mobile. They are, ships that you can be aggressive in due to the ability to angle nose in. But you're gonna, if you keep an eye on the map as the game develops, my right-hand eastern spawn flank is going to be the aggressors for my team, which is fine. Kind of, you need to, part of your job as a battleship, you need to be able to read your team. What are they doing? If your team is pushing forward, you want to stay with them. Continue the push. There's nothing more annoying for someone who's trying to be aggressive on a flank, push forward, and they get into the battle, and then they look at the map or they look behind them and see their battleship is parked on the moon, looking through the Hubble telescope. So we want to avoid that. We want to stay with the team without overextending. We don't want to be leading the charge, of course. But, the other option, this flank down here, my team on the southeast spawns are content to drop anchor in the base. Now, I'm going to be doing that too, so you can say, what are you going to be talking smack about your team for doing the exact same thing you are? That's fine. If you want to think that, that's fine. But I'm basically here to prevent. You can see, if you look at the map and as you watch this game develop, the enemy is going to be overloading the east, which is typically what you see on this map. A lot of times, my team's not going to be pushing back, though. They're just going to be kind of sitting there. So, basically I'm going to try and hold this and punish people who cross over that. First things first, though, we got Indianapolis's. We blasted the first one. This one's angled, and he doesn't know that I know that you can't angle the Indy against anything, so go ahead and tap him there. I mean, geez. You get two Indianapolises on the enemy team, and they spawn right in front of you. That's good matchmaking for any battleship, but we're enjoying it so far. One of the hardest ships to play, one of my least favorite cruisers to play, just because it doesn't really matter what angle it's at. There's access to flat surfaces on that thing. So we're going to go ahead and pop him, or hopefully. I thought I was, I recognized that he was about to beach, or potentially about to beach, so I kind of pulled the shot back where I thought he would actually be stuck. But for some reason, we probably shot a little in front of that, missed the guy. Jean Bart coming around here. This guy's going to put a little bit of a kink into my armor. You can see the enemy red team has the destroyer popped into our sector here. Of course, nobody playing over on the wing. He can just shoot right in. He's going to proceed to torp everyone over here, basically unchallenged, which is unfortunate. It's going to cause problems, but we're using our position. We are the rook in chess. We're saying if you cross this line, you're dead. And that's the risk. If the enemy recognizes that we're here and they're recognizing they can't really dislodge us very easily, if they want to get down to that southeast part of the map, they got to go through us. So, it's, again, hopefully the people on my right, on the east, are more aggressive. And you can see, unfortunately, those battleships are kind of hanging back a little bit. So they're not being as aggressive as I'd be advocating for a flank that's pushing, but one that's kind of defending. We're trying to slow down the enemy's push. We're going to try and weather the strength of the enemy's force, slow them down. We're fine just sitting here. As long as we got this island on our right here, we can't really take any wicked salvos, flanking shots from the north, and we can just basically point in here. These guys are all going to have a very hard time dealing damage to us. Bismarck's like, screw it, we're going for it. Let's see if this guy can aim. We'll oblige him, and this is kind of the risk. And the teammates on the red team are going to be looking around saying, oh, okay, that looks pretty saucy there. So you kind of pin down this lane, you kind of say out, you present it to the universe. Here I am. If you dare cross here, potentially I can kill you in one shot. Is it a guarantee? Absolutely not. No battleship shot is a guarantee. That's part of the balancing, of course, is it's a little bit randomized. But that shot at the Wichita, for instance, it could have been a one-shot kill or it could have been a 2,000 K damage like it was there. But as, the skill of the enemy increases, the more and more they're going to be trying mitigating these risks. And good players generally are not going to cross this gap where they know they're going to be lit and going to be taking multiple salvos in the broadside. I mean, had we shot at the Bismarck every time, that could be the third, that could be the fourth salvo into the sides, and he could be very low in health, maybe a third health left. Same thing with the Wichita. He got away with one there. We didn't shoot at him the second time. The second salvo we could have. But again, that's not considered a good play to cross in there. It's a risky play. Sometimes you can get away with it. Sometimes you need to do it. But this Jean Bart getting to where he is now, that changes the dynamic because currently I was kind of pinning the enemy from crossing over there. He's now pinning me. And unlike the people on the red team, I'm not going to chance turning my broadside of that guy and move to where I want to go. Essentially where I want to go in this point in time is that southeast. I want to just get in front of those ships that are going over there and, fight them head on while having islands block me. And this is that classic pitfall that 9 out of 10 Tier 7 French battleship players make. They identify the enemy's French battleship. They sit at their, point nose in at each other, lob shells for 1,000 damage at a time. It's, it's the stupidest, most boring way to play the game. It makes you completely ineffective. One of the most dangerous ships on your team's roster is just sitting there shooting a ship that it can't damage. So we back up. We drop line of sight. I'm going to give that Jean Bart just a couple seconds here to let his attention wander. Usually when a ship's dueling you and you disappear, they'll give you 10 seconds maybe, if they're patient, to come back into their field of view. If not, they're going to start looking around. Who else can I shoot at? And I was hoping that Wichita over there that was briefly threatening to poke was going to poke over here. Now I want to see if I can get a shot on this flint here. Jean Bart's still holding the pin down. He's still got us pinned. We still got him pinned. So unable to dislodge this guy just by letting his attention wander. And he really has no incentive to move, and I really have no incentive to move until someone pushes a flank and forces us to do so. I am curious about this Bismarck that proceeded to the southwest corner of the map. And, of course, we have the Wichita that there he is right there. He's the one I want to shoot. He's broadside. He's a cruiser. We can technically kill him in one shot, which would dramatically lower their team's damage per minute. Very fast reloading cruiser guns, potentially quite dangerous. He does angle right at the last second there, though, and you can see bounces all those shells. So the Wichita, if you're taking those shells in the angled sides, you can bounce these French battleships quite comfortably. Anyway, Jean Bart, we're just going to go ahead and let our guns drop silent. He does shoot. I believe he's got AP loaded this time, so even if he hits us, he knows we're there, damages the gun, but he doesn't hit us with that HE, which would have lit us on fire, would have increased our distance that were visible on the enemy's map, and that would have potentially allowed this team to shoot. We pull back until that Bismarck disappears. Now, we had it pre-aimed, so we were spotting each other. We dropped spot on each other's screen. I was already aimed where I wanted to shoot. I was waiting for him to drop. Then I fired. We had only one gun available, of course, because the other one was briefly damaged, but got the shot off. Anytime you can get free shots going out into the universe while not allowing yourself to take incoming fire from the universe, that's a positive thing, especially for, it doesn't really matter what class of ship. You always want to be able to look for opportunities to potentially deal damage to the enemy while making it basically impossible to have that damage coming back to you, because this game's all about managing your damage trades. If you are managing it so successfully that you can't take incoming fire in return, bravo. So that's what you're looking for. Bismarck, he's kind of resumed. Well, he's pushing in now. It looked like he briefly was resuming that Jean Bart's position as a pin. But we see on the map that Jean Bart is pulling back. Our team that was aggressive that we were talking about earlier, the pushing flank on this map, did break through. They got around, they killed that flank. Now they're in the base. Jean Bart is turning around to respond to that, to reset. That's fine. Wichita going to be pulling forward here, broadside. This is going to be a kind of a conundrum in my mind. The Wichita, generally you want to kill the ships that you can kill the fastest. Wichita should be that in this instance. But Wichita is disengaging, and Bismarck is kind of putting himself into a position where it's an existential threat. He's just going to get close enough where the secondaries are going to go off constantly, continue to, set us on fire over and over again. Meanwhile, he can angle, he can knock my guns out potentially. This is a major problem, letting this Bismarck get this close. So I'm inclined to try and kill him, or I was initially inclined to try and kill him when we had some chance to damage him. We do go ahead, we get our head cleared though, we kill the Wichita. High DPM cruisers, still a bigger threat. Now, we're kind of set up for the ram on the Bismarck, but we do recognize the Jean Bart is backing up. Now, rather than just solely focus on the Bismarck, we locate that citadel of Jean Bart. We still maintain the trade on the Bismarck, get the trade, but we put off 2 salvos in the Jean Bart and knocked him down by about 2/3 of his health in the process. So, good game awareness there. That's a ram. I don't usually play the ram as often as I see a lot of other players. Usually what you want to be looking for is I got less HP than my enemy. I got more ships on my team than the enemy has on theirs. And another consideration could be, if he kills me here and pushes through, is that a problem in terms of the game? Now, we still have 1 ship on our base. That was the Indianapolis, though. You guys know, if you've heard me talk about the Indianapolis, it's easy to kill. So technically all 3 of those indicators did favor the ram. We went for it, but we did get the damage off. And luckily our 4v1 is able to finish the Jean Bart off. That's always the risk if you kill yourself in a ram. Can my team handle this without me? Luckily these guys can, and they do a great job. So that's a look at the Ritchie for you. Thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you're new. Questions, comments, leave them below. Peace.